Hello YouTube. My name is Stacy. I'm known here as Flighty Rambler, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel today. Please excuse my voice. I am recovering from a cold and my voice isn't quite normal. Today I'm working on a 9x12 canvas that I created as a gift to someone who is near and dear to my heart. I created it for her as a Christmas gift, and after she received it, she gave me permission to use the footage. I struggle to find confidence to feel good enough about my work to give it to people. I don't feel that it's good enough. I always am picking apart each piece, thinking that it's not good enough. And I really pushed myself to create something to send. So I'm going to start by collecting a few pieces of paper to use as my background collage. And I'll collage it down with my collage glue, which is a mixture of matte Mod Podge and water. And I'll make sure to not forget to add some interest to all the edges. Once the collage is dry, I'll use some gesso and some Liquitex acrylic paint in Payne's Gray. I'll start by using the gesso to finger paint around each of the pieces of paper to blend them into the background a bit more. I'll just continue to use my fingers, my rag, the foam brush, and the paint and the gesso, bringing the values up, knocking them back down. My goal is to have different levels of the paint, but not to overwhelm the background collage. And then it's time to add some splats. I'll add water to the gesso and the acrylic paint and go ahead and splat all over the background. And then I'll go back in with a small round brush into the gesso to do some mark making. And I'll make sure not to forget to add interest to all the edges. I really like how it's turning out so far. I like that I can see the background collage through the paint. I'm going to collect some papers from my stash and stack them together to create some petals. I'm showing how I use these clips and cosmetic sponges to create daubers for myself. It gives me a little handle that gives a bit of respite to my sore hands. I'm showing how I store my stencils. It's a 12 by 12 scrapbook and I've chosen these inserts that have the open end on the top, and in each of these pages I've put a spare piece of scrapbook paper so that I can see the designs, and I've cut my stencils down to make it usable for myself. There were a few 12 by 12s in my stash that I just cut up and put them into my binder book here under each category, such as florals and grunge and butterflies and different categories like that. I'm going to choose this stencil because it has nice wide open spaces on it, and I'm going to choose to use gesso instead of acrylic because I don't want the bold lines of acrylic. I want the softness of the gesso. Once I've used the stencil, I'm going to go in with a bigger round brush and add more interest to make the stencil bigger. I'll even use a baby wipe to pull some of the stenciled piece up so that all 3 of the spots look different from one another. While the canvas is drying, I'm going to turn my attention back to the paper piecing I'm doing. I'm going to choose a beautiful patterned yellow for the centers of my flowers, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the collection of petals I cut out previously, only to find out I don't like the shape of them. I want my petals to be longer to take up more space on this canvas, so I end up recutting a lot of petals. And then I'm going to simply collage them all down with my collage glue. This is just me scribble journaling with a 2HB pencil across the canvas. I'm not going to write on top of the flowers. I'm going to concentrate my scribble journaling on the background. Then I'm going to take a collection of Pitt Artists pens and give the flowers a bit more fun and depth of color. Because I've added glue on top of all of these flowers, it makes for a nice non-porous surface. And the India ink in these Pitt Artists pens now have a couple of seconds for me to smudge and smear them before they dry permanent. And then I'm going to take this black ballpoint pen and add some sketchy lines around each petal. I find this gives the flower a lot more definition. And then I'll continue using that ballpoint pen to add some mark making on the background. And then I'm going to take a blue ballpoint pen and do some sketchy lines around the flowers again, just because I really wanted them to pop a bit more from the background. Next, I'm going to use my Stabilo All pencil in black and a water brush to go around the outline of all the petals to give them even more definition and depth. Once I'm done outlining and defining the petals and the flower, I'm going to use a green Stabilo All and a black Stabilo All to create the stems. And then it's time for some splats. I'm going to choose fluorescent orange and pink and add some splats on the background. I'm going to use that acrylic ink to add some mark making interest as well as some more definition to the flowers. Then it's time for the watered down gesso splats and more Payne's Gray splats. And then it's time to bring the ballpoint pens back to add some more squiggly lines and scribble journaling down the stems of all of these flowers. I'm going to take a white gel pen and add some highlights. I am entirely too critical of my work, and I struggle with the confidence to think that other people would actually like what I'm creating, never mind hang it on their walls. So I was really glad to have the confidence to put this canvas together and to send it to someone who is appreciative of it. And that really touches my heart. And I did a lot of finishing touches off camera, and I'm just really grateful that she likes it. And that's it for this video. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I encourage you to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.